just turn down the brightness. So in today's video, I really just want to reflect on Q1, how it went. Q1 was a crazy quarter for me. So much happened, as you guys would have already seen from my channel. So I just want to reflect on that and then also plan for Q2, because Q1 was a little bit of a whirlwind, whereas Q2, I really just want to get back focused on the goals that I set for 2023 and just make sure that I'm operating at my very best. So I'm going to start with a little bit of reflection. That's always what I like to do before I set new goals. So I'm just going to head into the reflection tab of my planner. I'll leave the link to the planner down below. I have my 2021 reflection here. I have my 2022 reflection, but then I also have the quarters for 2023. So I'm going to go into Q1. As you guys can see, I didn't set any goals for Q1 2023. That's because there was already so much happening and I just really did not want to add extra stress. What I do want to do today is do the reflection question so that I can do the planning for Q2. So let's start with the first set of reflection questions, which is, what were my major achievements and highlights of Q1 2023? Obviously, number one for me, major highlight, moving to Dubai. This for me was so crazy because I was never one of those people who was like, oh, like I really want to live in another country, or I really want to do a year abroad. It wasn't really a thing to me till I think about 2021. And so it's so crazy to me that in 2023, I am literally living in another country. And one thing I remember when I was maybe like 15, 16, 17, 18, my motto was always doing what others say they will, because I never wanted to be one of those people who would always talk about stuff, but never like actually do them. And so from very, very young, I was like to myself, no, the things that everyone is talking about, I'm going to make sure that I actually do them. I don't just want to sit around talking about them. That is definitely a major achievement and highlight for me. I'm going to say the second one is moving into my first apartment / moving out. This is a highlight for me because I was never one of those people who wanted to do this. Like, I know a lot of people were like, yeah, as soon as I leave uni, I want to live in my own space and blah, blah, blah. That was never me. I'm always that person that was just like, listen, I'm going to stay at home until someone comes to collect me. I want to save as much as I can. I'm never going to get the opportunity to live at home again and save this much of my income. It's been amazing. I did a whole reel on like some of the benefits of just living by yourself and why I love it. So that was definitely a highlight for me. The third, I would say, oh my God, the third has to be having a successful, did I spell that right? Webinar. The Own Your Money webinar was so good. And I was super nervous the like couple days leading up to it. I don't know why, because money and like wealth, that's like the topic that I'm most passionate about. And then property is more of like a subsection of that. So I don't know why I was so nervous about doing the Own Your Money webinar, because when I get talking about things that I'm passionate about, I will literally just like keep going and won't stop. But I would say that the reason why this was such a highlight for me is because I don't ever want to be one of those people on the internet who speak about things they haven't experienced themselves. And so I've always been very conscious on my channel to only speak about things that I have done myself, that I know the process of. Like, you guys didn't hear me speaking about moving to a new country until I actually moved to another country. When I bought my first property, you guys didn't know that I was even on the journey to buying it until I actually bought it, right? And maybe we kind of looked at the wealth path, which I'll insert the slide that I'm referring to on the screen, is we look at financial stability and financial independence and then financial freedom. And so the first two, financial stability and financial independence, I felt very comfortable speaking about because I've done them, right? I've achieved that. But financial freedom was not something that, it's not something that I've experienced. So I didn't feel as comfortable speaking about that, but I was able to get one of my informal mentors to come on and join. Aisha, she was a former private wealth manager at Goldman Sachs. She's a founder of a startup which helps women to get into investing and stuff like that. So everyone who was on the webinar who signed up will be one of the first to be able to actually experience her platform and all of that sort of stuff, right? But having her on was such a validation for me but when she came, she had no clue what I was going to say for the first hour and a bit before she joined. I didn't brief her with anything. And when she came, and 90% of what she said was what I had already taught everyone who was on the webinar for the first an hour and 50 minutes, for me, I had so much validation in that, because it was just like, I know what I'm talking about. Is a multi-millionaire, and she is saying the exact same things that, you know, I was saying. So if you're on the webinar, you know that I literally had to stop her and be like, you know, you are saying almost word for word what I've just been saying. Then she had some like additional stuff that obviously, which is why I think it was so important to have someone who actually has experienced financial freedom to speak about it, because then she was speaking about stuff like, you know, leverage and business and stuff like that. And I would not know that because I'm not at that stage yet. That was definitely a major highlight for Q1. And the second question is, what am I grateful for? I think gratitude is so important. As an ambitious person, you can almost sometimes find yourself in a space where you're not as grateful as you should be, because you're always looking for the next thing. If you are struggling with being grateful, listen, this diary is for you. You need to do this. Anytime when I get into a space where I feel like I'm not as grateful as I should be, I literally will always pick up this diary. So the first thing I would say is my decision-making skills. I don't know if you'd call it a skill, but one thing I'm super proud of and grateful for is my ability to make good decisions. And you know, you make good decisions when you know how to say yes and no to things, and especially saying no to things that look good in the moment. I owe that to one, like always having like goals and making decisions under the framework of my goals and saying, okay, cool, if this is where you want to go, then does this align with that? And then being able to say yes or no. Obviously praying about your decisions as well. Even just the fact of coming to Dubai, that was a decision that I was toying with. I could have definitely said no. Like I was saying in my last video, the morning routine video, that a year and a half ago, I decided to do the Harvard Business School online business course. And even at that point, I was deciding whether I should even do any additional qualification, because you don't need to. I would have to be paying for it, and then I'd also have to be spending an extra 10 to 15 hours a week on top of a hectic schedule to study. Now down the line, I think that was such a good decision, because I know having that on my CV would have definitely helped me to get the job that I have now. The second thing that I'm going to say is friends, family, and loved ones. And I know this can sound a little bit cliche, but I don't think it is. I don't think that many people know who their friends are, know that their family and their loved ones love them and have a good relationship with these people in their lives. Because you see all the time, right? Like some people every single year, they're posting up quotes about fake friends, they're posting up quotes about cutting people off, and they're posting up quotes about, not even just quotes. I'm speaking to people, right, who are just like, I don't have any friends who are like on the same mindset as me. I don't have any friends who, I believe like want to go the way that I'm going and stuff like that. And I definitely was in that space a couple of years ago. But I'm so glad now that I'm like, okay, cool. Like I know who my friends are. And then the last thing is something that I'm not going to speak about right now. Let's move on. So the third question is, what were the major life lessons from this quarter? This is not really a life lesson, but it's just kind of like a phrase that I really like and that I want to keep in my mind going forward, and that is the term pronoia. So I saw this on a podcast. I'll leave the podcast on the screen if I can remember which episode exactly it was. And the guy was basically explaining this concept of pronoia, which is taken from the phrase paranoia, and it's the idea and the belief, not even the idea, the belief that all things are working for your good. The belief that all things are working for your good. I'm laughing because it's an important mindset to have. So if you're a Christian, you've probably already heard this sort of phrase before, but then there's hearing the phrase and then there's actually believing it. So whenever something goes wrong in your life, not even just necessarily goes wrong, but things just don't happen the way you want them to, just see these situations in your life as happening for you and not to you. And I think it's just a good positive mindset to have, because it's really hard to think that about certain things, right? Because it's just like, how in any way is this good for me? But if you push yourself into this victim mindset, or if you push yourself into the mindset of, like everything is just negative, everything is bad, I'm a victim, blah, 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 it doesn't help you. Working for my good. The second thing is, they wanted to, so they did. This is kind of a play on that, when people are like, if he wanted to, then he would, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of a play on that, and I guess this is more of like just having a grateful mindset or a gratitude attitude of just recognizing when people do things for you, like, wow, this person actually wanted to and they did. The last thing is, a summation of mediocre days will create a mediocre life. And I think this has been really pivotal for me, and just thinking about the next steps that I want to take. And yeah, I think this sentence just speaks for itself. I really don't need to explain, but this is also a lot of the basis of the Q2 planning that I want to do. So let's actually move on to that. But then these would be the questions that I would do thinking about Q2. But then before that, I'm definitely going to go ahead and review my goals, because I can't plan for the next quarter if I don't know what it is that I'm trying to achieve. And the planner even tells you, like, review your goals. So I am not going to show my goals because, like I said, I'm someone who likes to do things first before I show them and talk about them. But I'm just going to kind of reflect on these goals and just see, am I on track for them? What do I need to do better? And I would say in general, all of them, I'm working towards them, but not the best that I can. First quarter was like, even if I didn't do anything in the first quarter, but just move to a new country, get an apartment, start my new job, that would have been enough. The fact that I was still posting on YouTube, the fact that I was still hosting webinars, for me, is just like, that was me going above and beyond. I'm super proud of how I've been able to keep things going during the first quarter. Even gym, like, I've still managed to go to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week, even though I've been in like 5 different locations in this quarter alone. Like, I mean, starting off in Nigeria, then back to the UK, then I was at the hotel, then I was at the Airbnb, then I was here, and through all of that, I still managed to go to the gym. You guys probably cannot see, it's still focusing on my face. Okay, never mind. But anyways, I still managed to go, so I'm super proud of myself, but we need to take things up a notch. And also looking at these goals, I have less goals than I did last year, but they are a lot more impactful. But I want to add 2 goals. The first of which is I want to learn how to swim this year. I really want to learn how to swim. And it's so crazy because I knew that I wanted to do this. I just didn't add it to my calendar at the end of last year. Add it to my goals board at the end of last year. But speaking to so many people offline and online, a lot of people have actually set this goal this year. Okay, not a lot, but a few people that I've met, and I was so shocked because I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm probably one of the only people who don't know how to like properly swim. But even at work, there were like 2 or 3 people who also were like, they also are learning to swim this year, and they're doing swimming lessons and everything. And I was like, no way. And even online, I was watching Mariam Musa. I don't know if she started this last year, but I know that she's learning how to swim as well. And yeah, I feel like it's just such an important survival skill that you should have. The life area for that is personal and development, which is what I like to call it. The focus area is fitness, and then I'm going to set the quarter deadline for me as Q2. But the task for this is going to be to sign up for swimming lessons, of course, so let me just do that. The 30th of April to sign up for swimming lessons. I always like to add like icons because I just feel like it just makes it more fun. And then I'm also going to add a habit. I've already explained my goal structure in many videos. So then a habit that I'm going to have is obviously to practice swimming, and I'm going to say at least once a week. That is actually the reason why I got braids, you guys, is because I want to start learning how to swim, and so this is, I think, the best hairstyle to have. And then in the habit, I'm just going to make sure that everything is set up. Also, let me just add a cover as well. A nice one. Swimming pool. Okay, cool. So I'm going to add this goal to my board, and then I have one more goal that's more of a career goal that I want to add as well. Cool. So I've reflected on my goals. I've added a new goal. Now I'm going to head to the daily view and just reflect on the habits that I have. Just want to make sure that the things that I'm doing on a daily basis are also contributing to the person who I'm becoming, and making sure that these habits are also relevant. Okay, so I just picked a random one just to kind of talk you guys through this, because I already changed some of it, because I am not one of those people who is going to wait for a change in the date on the calendar to get started. If I know that I need to fix up, do better, get focused, we're going to do it from whenever the day is. So I'm keeping 7 hours of sleep. Sleep is fundamental. This always stays, reading always stays. And then I added this, which is one big move. So this is in relation to that life lesson that I added, number 3, which is a summation of mediocre days will create a mediocre life. I want things to progress a lot this year. As someone who works a 9-to-5 job, 9 to 5, the majority of your day is spent building someone else's dream, essentially, right? I'm okay with that for this season of my life, but I still also want to make sure that I am making enough moves for my own personal life and my own personal career as well. It's just doing one thing a day, because I do many things a day to work on all of the stuff that I have going on, but one thing that is like outside of the ordinary, that could be like, I don't know, sending that email, that could be messaging that person, that kind of thing. So I've added that to my daily habits because that is something that I want to track, and I know that if I can do that for 90 days, and I've already been doing this, by the way, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. Next quarter, like, I don't want this to be this gappy and stuff, because even though I have been doing, on the days that I didn't add the entry, I was still doing these things. What you track, you grow, right? And so I really want to be tracking this to make sure that I am like on the ball. Then going back to the planning for Q2, the planning for Q2. Okay, so I'm gonna then go in and fill in these questions for what I want to do better next quarter. My top 3 focuses, what accomplishments I will write about. Okay, so one of the things I want to do better next quarter is I want to have better content. I've invested in mics, I've invested in the camera, I've invested in editing software, so I wanted to post that quality but more consistently. So yes, I want to be tracking those habits. My top 3 focuses, I want to get back on my like health and fitness properly, because the first quarter I was just practicing consistency, but I don't think I was striking enough at, you know, hitting the goals that I want to get, and so I want to get refocused on that. So I actually sat down and I actually created a meal plan. It's in that book over there. I sat down and I was like, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to eat for the week. These are the macros, these are the micros. I did that. Another focus of mine will be these big moves that I'm making, just making sure that they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I am someone who thrives off of routine. Like, I need to know what I'm doing. I don't like discombobulation. I need to know what I'm doing. And the first quarter was major discombobulation, and I was still able to perform so well if I'm giving myself grace. So now that I'm a bit more stable, I really want to, what accomplishments do I want to write about next quarter? I have wrote them down, and next quarter, if you guys enjoy this video, then I will come back and do that. I think one of the things that I'm practical that I'm going to do is just do a bit more content planning. I've done my meal planning, literally also created templates for all of my workouts. That's something that I've been doing. So I have templates for all of the workouts. I think this video is long enough as it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, and maybe I'll do one next quarter as well if you guys actually like the video. So hit the like button, and then I'll leave the link for the planner if you want to get the planner in the description box below, and then I'll also leave the link for this diary as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.